Hey history buffs and curious minds, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a conflict that sounds absolutely bonkers, almost too ridiculous to be true, but trust me, it happened. Get ready to hear about the time Australia declared war on emus. That's right folks, not a neighbouring country, not a rebellious faction, but large flightless birds. Now you might be picturing a bunch of farmers shaking their fists at some pesky wildlife. And while that's part of the story, the scale and the government involvement are what make this truly legendary. Our story takes us to Western Australia in 1932. World War I veterans, many of whom were given land to farm as part of a settlement scheme, were facing a massive problem. Around 20,000 emus, attracted by the newly cleared land and available water sources, were wreaking havoc on their wheat crops. These weren't just a few birds pecking around. We're talking about hordes of them trampling fields, eating the harvest, and even damaging fences. And the farmers had tried everything. They tried scaring them, they tried fencing, but these emus were relentless. Desperate, they turned to the government for help. And what did the government decide to do? Well, they figured the best way to deal with a massive influx of birds was to deploy the military. Yes, you heard that right. The Royal Australian Artillery was called in. They weren't facing enemy soldiers, they were facing emus. 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition were deemed necessary to tackle this feathered foe. Leading the charge was Major GPW Meredith. The first offensive began in late October 1932. The idea was simple: track down a large group of emus and, well, mow them down. Sounds straightforward, right? Wrong, these weren't your average pigeons. Emus are fast, seriously fast. They can reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, and they're surprisingly agile. The first encounter was less than successful. The machine gunners struggled to get a bead on the rapidly moving birds. One attempt resulted in only a handful of casualties, despite hundreds of rounds being fired. Major Meredith himself reportedly said the emus could face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. Over the next few days there were more attempts, ambushes were set, but the emus seemed to have a knack for avoiding the gunfire. They scattered, they ran in unpredictable patterns, and they proved to be incredibly difficult targets. The soldiers were essentially chasing shadows with machine guns. The media, of course, had a field day with this. Headlines mocked the military's efforts, and the Emu War quickly became a source of national amusement. After about a week, and with only a few hundred emus culled at the cost of thousands of rounds of ammunition, the military operation was deemed a failure and called off. But the farmers were still facing a problem. So a few weeks later, a second attempt was made, this time employing a different strategy. Instead of outright military engagement, the focus shifted to more targeted culling by government-appointed pest controllers. This proved to be somewhat more effective, though still challenging. In the end, while thousands of emus were eventually culled over time through various efforts, the Great Emu War stands as a hilariously unique chapter in military history. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes even the best-laid plans can be undone by a determined and surprisingly evasive foe, especially when that foe is a 6-foot-tall, flightless bird. So what do you think about Australia's war on emus? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this bizarre piece of history, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating stories. Thanks for watching.